on guaranteed income at the Jane Family Institute. He works with nonprofits, leaders, and lawmakers domestically and internationally to implement and research policies creating guaranteed income. So great to see you again, Stephen.
Thanks for having me back on.
Hey, some time has passed since the last time that we talked about that child tax credit. I want to talk about what it is to start off with, who qualifies for it, and how it works.
So, as a reminder, they've taken the existing child tax credit, which is $2,000 and non-refundable. They've made it fully refundable, meaning that if it is more than your tax liability, you can get it all back. They have essentially opened it up to people who have zero taxable income, even non-filers, and they have increased the value to $3,000 per child if they're over the age of 6, and to $3,600 for children 0 to 5. So it represents a fairly significant increase in the generosity of the benefit, and one that researchers believe is likely to have a huge impact on child poverty. Some estimates suggest that this benefit alone can cut the child poverty rate by about 40%. And of course, for middle-class households, those who don't fall under the federal poverty line, but who are still struggling to make ends meet, this will represent some additional cash. I think probably the most important thing to know, though, is that unlike a typical tax credit, this is actually going to be dispersed partly in monthly payments starting next month in July. Half the benefit will be distributed monthly through December 2021, and the other half will come at tax time.
And with the IRS rolling out the new child tax credit, are there, I guess, any implementation issues that have come up already or that could come up starting next month?
A recent study by the polling firm Data for Progress showed that only about 50% of households are even aware that this benefit is about to happen. The Biden administration is particularly interested in improving those numbers. So they've launched a campaign to try to increase awareness. Now, if you've already filed for your taxes in 2020 or 2019, or if you applied for a stimulus check through the IRS's website that they set up during the pandemic, then there's nothing else that you need to do. You're covered and you should receive the benefit, whether you're expecting it or not. However, if you are not aware, and unfortunately many of the most vulnerable households are those who are not aware, they really do need to come forward if they haven't filed taxes already and use the new webpage that has been set up. Unfortunately, the new webpage has been under criticism because it's a bit clunky and hard to use, and in particular, it's very difficult to navigate if you are on a mobile phone rather than on a PC. So right now, there's a lot of push by voluntary income tax assistance sites, by nonprofits and community development organizations, and by community leaders to raise awareness and to help these folks get into the system, because those big poverty numbers that we're talking about, cutting poverty by 40%, those assume that everybody get it. And if they don't get it, we're not going to see quite as much impact.
So it sounds like if there are any issues that arise with maybe people not being aware that they're involved in getting one of these checks or getting the child tax credit, that they might have a little bit of a challenge getting access to that website and signing up for it.
Sure, people need to be aware and they need to know how to navigate it. So certainly there are folks who are getting ready to help. I think on the other side of the implementation challenge, I think, will be, the IRS has not historically been in the business of sending out tens of millions of checks on a monthly basis, though they did have some experience with that over the past year because of the pandemic. So I think we're all waiting to see what's going to happen. We're talking about roughly 40 million checks going out each month between July and December of this year. So there's always the possibility that there'll be mistakes, checks getting lost in the mail, or people inadvertently throwing away a benefit that they don't realize is coming. I'd encourage everybody to be, if they don't have direct deposit set up with the IRS, to be on the lookout for something like this. it's it's a very important benefit. It represents the United States creating something like a child allowance, something that many other countries do. Canada, the UK, Spain, Germany. They've had an enormous success in cutting down child poverty, and they've also reaped long-term benefits for that, because the research shows that as you cut down on child poverty, that those individuals, those children grow up to be healthier, more productive, better educated adults, and of course, that's great for the economy and it's great for society.
And Stephen, on that note, I want to ask you: is there a chance that this child tax credit, this new child tax credit, could get expanded beyond 2021?
Definitely. So the Biden administration has already suggested that they would like to see at least the non-refundability, or the fully refundability part of the benefit to be made permanent. And then the expansion of the size up to $3,600 or $3,000 to extend that through at least 2025. But Senator William Bennett, who created the American Family Plan, which has served as the basis for this child tax credit expansion, and Richard Neal, chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, who was responsible for the development of the plan that's currently being implemented, along with a lot of other congressional leaders, have expressed interest in making the entire package permanent. So, there's a lot of things that are, up for negotiation over the next few months in Congress, and limited space in these reconciliation packages that are being used to pass a lot of these packages. So it's not certain that this will make it into the final cut of those bills. But I definitely see a push for this to be made permanent, or at least to be extended, happening over the next year or two. And I guess we'll see how that shakes out.